and then you can play it or you can cue it up. Because I think we're live right now.
We are live. Tyler.
Oh, hey guys. What's
going on?
We're here with Chasing Points, and we're here to do a post game show. Hi, I'm Chase, and
Hi, Chase.
I'd like to introduce my co-host Thomas Tipple because we are here to actually do a post game show. What's going on? What's up, Thomas?
That's Thomas Tipple, bet winner.
Oh,
For anyone carrying over, never doubt the GOAT.
So we did a starter sit show.
Yep.
And our starter sit show consisted of a bet. The bet consisted of me eating the bomb sauce on next Sunday morning's starter sit show.
It would have went either way.
Yeah, well, yeah, either way. For Fantasy Intervention over there, youtube.com/fantasy intervention. So now I have to eat the bomb sauce because Jalen Hurts just melted souls. I was very, very down on Jalen Hurts, and he's crushing. He's demolishing like minds. He looks like a different quarterback. Like
he has
looks
the most
like
top 12 finishes in fantasy football.
But
the quarterback.
This is all right. Normally it's due to fourth quarter. He's been crushing it since quarter number 1. Like he looks phenomenal out there. And I like Jalen Hurts. I was not against Jalen Hurts. I thought that Jalen Hurts was a very decent quarterback with rushing upside. For fantasy, he's phenomenal. I just thought that the Denver Broncos would be able to shut him down because guess what? They shut down to an extent Lamar Jackson. So real quick, now I have to eat the bomb sauce. And Tyler, he's in the background. He's going to be able to pull up this video of the last time that I ate the bomb sauce. Y'all
Live
ready for this?
Oh, God. Look at the tears. I see the tears.
Chase Burden, forever
unclean. Can you hear this sound? My face swelled up. I could not talk. I didn't make any sense.
Were there any vinegar strokes in that hot sauce?
Absolutely ridiculous because
look at his face.
You can see the other for FF_intervention. It was brutal. It was absolutely insane. This is the second time I landed on it. I landed on it 4 times. The second time was absolutely worse. Now I have to do it waking up after I go to work, for an entire night.
Oh my God!
What eat the bomb sauce?
Happened.
Like, if you're looking right now, you see me trying to get
Jordan Howard.
My jaw and everything. Everything was so numb. The best looking person. Everything was so numb and so swollen, I couldn't see. Hey, Tyler, you're about to miss the best part when I couldn't even open my eyes. But that's okay. That's okay. We actually have a show to get to. We have to talk about this week and how this is now A.J. Dillon's team. This is no longer Aaron Jones' team. He should have gone to the Arizona Cardinals when he had a chance. Like I talked about, I was like, hey, listen, like A.J. Dillon, sure he's going to get the money, but he's not going to be the main running back for the Packers because it's A.J. Dillon's team. It is. But we also have a lot of other things to cover along with, when we talk about like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like that was absolutely insane for what happened. I mean, the dose score this week absolutely slayed it. The dose score was insane. We were so close. They didn't have 100%, batting. Like it was absolutely nuts. And then we have to cover, some of the players like, dude, Justin Jefferson up against the Chargers looked like an animal. Like he looked like a demon. He looked possessed. He was getting first downs with 3 guys on top of him. So Thomas, where do you want to start this week at? Which I guess category do you
I want to talk. So the first thing I want to talk about is Jonathan Taylor's usage throughout the game against Jacksonville. So this was very odd to me. Indianapolis goes up early. He rushes for about 80 yards in basically the first quarter. The first 2 or 3 drives, he had 80 some yards. And Jonathan Taylor only finished with 116 yards on only 21 carries. Now, he caught 6 balls, which is fantastic. His receiving numbers have been going up. That's great. But they got ahead, which should have been prime Jonathan Taylor game script. They got the blocked punt. They were way up, and they just didn't. Like, the Jaguars just tightened up. I was watching most of that game. So I just thought it was weird. He looked like he had a clear path to 35, 40 points today. And he winds up with a measly 24.6 pedestrian. Measly. But you want that like game-breaking, winning week. Well, Stevenson had it, Dillon had it, and Christian McCaffrey ended up outscoring him without a touchdown. So it's like you really want your Jonathan Taylor, right, when they're in a plus game script to continue to produce outside the first quarter, but it didn't happen today. Very weird. Very weird game. And Carson Wentz sucked.
So the Jaguars are actually decent up against the running backs. Thus far in the season, they've only allowed two teams to get over 100 yards. And I talked about this on, I think, Wednesday show. I was like, hey, Jonathan Taylor, he's great. But, I mean, they're going to follow the Derrick Henry mold in most cases where they're going to run the ball a ton. And he's going to end up with 130 yards. And that's what Derrick Henry ended up with. Jonathan Taylor got close, but didn't actually make it there. When it came to the Texans had to run it 26 times to get 85 yards. And you can do that and wear down the Jacksonville defense. But the Jacksonville front seven is actually pretty good at stopping the run. I mean, we're talking about a team that loses every single week. They lose every week, and you've only allowed two teams to get over 100 yards rushing. So, I mean, I'm not talking about just a running back. I'm talking about two whole teams here.
No, for sure.
When you talk about that, I think that you have to expect Jonathan Taylor to... Bentley, can you hear that? Bentley,
he's
chill.
Always there. Well, here's the other thing too, though. I get that Jacksonville's good against the run, but this is supposed to be the strength of the Colts. Now, Quentin Nelson also got hurt in this game too. Something to watch for. This is the first game where Jonathan Taylor got 20 carries in a game. Plus game script. He's only hit 100 yards a couple of times. It's going to be touchdowns for him, I think. I think he'll finish as the running back one. I think that'll be a pretty clear path, but be interesting that he's got Buffalo and Tampa Bay the next 2 weeks. I want to monitor how they use them.
Well, Buffalo's going to be absolutely brutal. Tampa Bay's going to be brutal as well. The biggest thing for me is, like with Jonathan Taylor and the way that he's utilized, is they don't want to end up running him out there like other teams have done to Christian McCaffrey, for example, where you're just going to end up wearing him down. They want to keep him fresh, and they have two decent running backs on the back end. I know, I get that they were up, and I get that it's Jacksonville, but Jacksonville has way better defense than what people perceive Jacksonville to be. They're actually really, really good, which is strange. But at the same time, that's why teams score big points on them, is because they're funneling teams to be able to pass on them versus allowing teams to be able to run and get 4 yards carry versus 8 yards of reception.
And on the other side, because of that, on the other side, James Robinson, first game back on the heel injury, right? Get 57 yards, the touchdown, and then 4 receptions again. The guy's just as solid as it comes. That's why I said last week you should be going out and buying him up even while he was hurt. He's got a great schedule coming up, and he's just going to be smooth and steady.
Yeah, but
status quo.
Real quick, back to Jonathan Taylor. This is something that you actually have to expect to have a limit on without breakaway runs. So I would check out the breakaway run rate. If you actually go to, I think it's Sharp Sports, and check out breakaway run rate, I think is the terminology. It'll give you teams and base it off of the run percentage, and then take and equate that to the running back's ability to be able to break off big runs. And Jonathan Taylor had that, but the Jacksonville Jaguars don't allow that because they play, so many defenders out wide versus stack boxes, because they cannot allow their secondary to be just open. Like they can't allow that. So
he still busts for 5.5 a clip. That's really impressive.
So good. It's great. I mean, his first run was 34 yards. Like that. That's amazing. So
that's all. That's what you need.
Over to James Robinson, this is something we expected. We talked about it in our show this morning.
Mm-hmm.
The start of the show, like how we expected James Robinson to see 4 to 5 targets and 4 to 5 receptions
today.
Boom, like that happened. And by the way, like the Colts are really bad at stopping pass catching running backs. You guys can go check it out at fantasyintervention.com/DOCE. Dose score, the dose score hit at a rapid rate. It was absolutely insane how accurate.
Who's the biggest hitter? Who's the biggest hitter today on the dose score?
So I didn't go to the biggest hitters. What I tried to find was the people who might have proved the dose score wrong, because I want to get better at accurately predicting the dose score. And so, like I said, we had Michael Carter, who missed or who broke the threshold by 0.3 points. We had Ty Johnson, who broke it by 0.6 points. And then we had J.D. McKissick, who missed it by 0.5 points. So accuracy-wise, like I missed it by 0.3, 0.6, and 0.5, which is insane. But when it comes to finding that breakout running back, I'm going to have to go back and compile the data. And once again, I didn't do it all the way to the end. This was just very brief research. But I want to talk to you about real quick the Washington football team and Tampa Bay. because
okay,
like I predicted Mike Evans to have a massive week. He had an okay week. Wasn't great.
Yeah, he saved it.
Chris
the 40-yard
Godwin
bomb
didn't do anything. What's up?
Evans saved his week on a 40-yard bomb. That's kind of status quo.
It wasn't even a bomb. It was like a pass that he just broke loose on, like, from the defender, and
yeah,
it wasn't even like a jump ball type bomb. It was something where he was just
rope.
wide open, and I expect that to happen the entire week. That didn't happen. Meanwhile, we had the Cowboys put up 36 points on the Falcons in the first half. So which was more impressive to you? The Cowboys putting up the fantasy points that they did throughout it with CeeDee Lamb and Ezekiel Elliott. And, I mean, while leaving Dak Prescott out, by the way, because I think Dak Prescott was 293 and 2 touchdowns. So, that's good. That's solid. But, that's not great. Or Washington.
3 touchdowns with the rushing touchdown.
Oh, you're right. Or Washington putting up no valuable fantasy points outside of Antonio Gibson up against one of the best run defenses in the league.
I'm going to say Washington because Chase Young is done for the year now. He's done with the ACL, and that was kind of mid-game, and they pulled it out. Look, I don't know what Heineke Tay God himself has against
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I don't know what he has against Tom Brady, but it seems like he just gets so amped up to play that game. I'm impressed with Washington in this game. 100%. And Gibson himself, he really powered through, especially on a guy on one leg.
Are the Falcons just done when it comes to fantasy value?
Oh, they're just terrible. No, I don't think they're done for fantasy value. So here's CPAT. Apparently, wasn't even really that banged up. He got banged up a little bit. They were down so much they rested Cordero Patterson. That's how much he means to that team. But if you look at, the receivers are going to be pretty much dust until Ridley comes back. Zacchaeus and Gage are completely non-factors. But Pitt still had 7 targets, right? 60 yards. He was totally fine. He was targeted on a ball that got picked, thrown behind him, that Diggs picked off. There's fantasy value. And before this, atrocious meltdown game for Matt Ryan, he was a very playable quarterback. 32 points, 22, 25, 37, 20, 20. But he's just got a 7, an 8, and now a less than 1 on the season. So he's been playable. They get New England, which is gross, but Jacksonville, Tampa, Carolina, San Francisco, Detroit, very favorable matchups for Matt Ryan moving forward. I think there's lots of fantasy value.
How amazing was it to watch Josh Rosen come in on his first passing attempt
and throw a pick? I feel so bad for him because
I don't at all.
He comes into the game. He comes into the game, right? He gets drafted that high, right? He's basically fed to the Lions and a bad coaching staff with no talent around him. Then they're no, you're going to be the guy. Yeah, Rosen. Yeah. Terrible coaching staff. Obviously, everyone got fired the second he was there. There was no one around him. Hopkins wasn't there yet. I think Kirk was their wide receiver 1 at the time. They had nothing there. The team was bad. Tough division. All right, we're gonna keep you. Never mind. We're taking Kyler. All right, we're gonna trade him. Trade him. He never gets playing time. He's bouncing around. He finally gets to come in the game and throw a single pass, and it's picked because they're down so much. The defense is just waiting for him, and I feel so bad for him.
Are you on the train with Trayvon Diggs being a good or a bad corner in the NFL? Because I think he's elite. Look, people are like, he gives up big plays. It's like, no, he really doesn't. He's more
his yardage against him. He's liable. If he's the classic guy, right? You hit him with a double move, you got a 50-50 shot. He's going to get left in the dust because he wants that pick. But what's more valuable to your defense? A player that can get those turnovers or a guy that's occasionally going to give up a 40-yard pass, right? When you're rushing the passer like this, like Dallas has been doing, except for this, well, even with this week with so many guys being hurt, right? And the pick was pretty thrown to him. It was pretty whatever.
It was.
But that's most of the interceptions in the NFL. If you're being honest, it's tipped and right to you or just thrown to you.
How bad was that Russell Wilson one? That Russell Wilson one was brutal.
Yeah, so I think he's a fine player. Defensive player of the year, I think not, but I think he's a very fine player, and I think Dallas made the right move. And for DFSs now, not just DFSs, but your DSTs and defenses and fantasy. Dallas is a team that, a lot of people, including myself, kind of got wrong. We thought they would just get tagged every week, but they're causing turnovers. They're getting sacks. They're a fun defense right now. Don't shy away from playing them and streaming them because, especially with Diggs leading the way, they're causing turnovers.
All right, so let's go ahead and hop on to a topic. I've got two topics. One that makes me sore, one that makes me curious.
Okay.
Urban Meyer. It has to be the worst.
Be gone.
He has to be the worst coach in the NFL. He's not limiting Darrell Bevell to 2 reads. The average depth of target is just too much for Trevor Lawrence. He's getting forced to read 2 or 3 options 10 to 15 yards down the field. It's terrible for a rookie quarterback to be able to do this. You want
Lawrence
rookie
is no
quarterbacks.
Mac Jones.
You want, all right. So here's the difference. Typically, rookie quarterbacks that have to make 2 or 3 reads, like Josh McDaniel's system, Darrell Bevell's system, which, by the way, are 2 opposite systems. Well, not opposite, but they're different systems. They require a good running back because you are, as a rookie, you have to process certain things, right? You have to be able to process. And with Darrell Bevell's system, which has one of the highest ADPs for offensive coordinator systems in the entire NFL, when he goes somewhere, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, the ADOT goes up because of the system. Yeah. Darrell Bevell, most offenses that have deep reads, they say, hey, 1, 2, and then check down. Darrell Bevell's system calls for a 3rd read and then a check down. For a rookie quarterback to make 3 reads with all bad receivers, granted Laviska Shenault, which, throw it up in there if you think he's good or not, doesn't matter. But you're talking about Agnew and Marvin Jones, who I think is decent, but he has to be a first read on every single play in order for him to be decent. He's not. In order for Lawrence to process all 3 reads and then go to a check down is a lot to ask from a rookie when you're attempting 35 or so passes a game.
It's brutal.
How many did he actually hit this game?
Not enough.
Passing attempts, essentially. It's either way, it's not great.
35. 16 for 35 for 162 and a 2-point conversion. And he's not running enough either. 5 carries for 33 yards plus the fumble.
Yeah, when you're forced to have 35 reads with bad receivers, right? Receivers that don't deserve to be starters on most teams. And you have to process, hey, by the way, this guy isn't gaining much separation, but his strong suit is X. I know this isn't a bad receiver, but I want to give everybody an example real quick. We have Aaron Rodgers who played with Jordan Nelson, right? Jordan Nelson was great at the back shoulder fade. You remember that? This was the thing that he was
won many of leagues. James Jones too.
Yeah. So, but I'm talking about the back shoulder fade, right? That was Jordan Nelson's specialty. And so, by giving an example for this, hey, that Jordan Nelson can win almost against any single quarterback at a back shoulder read. Meanwhile, you have Agnew, you have Shenault, you have Marvin Jones. They don't have a signature throw that you can go to that hey, this defender's really bad at guarding that. So
Taylor, what up?
He cannot offer that opportunity. So when you have a rookie quarterback trying to make 35 reads a game that are 3 reads plus a 4th that's a dump down.
I know.
It just destroys the value of a rookie quarterback.
He's got to go. Go.
Darrell Bevell's fine, but at the same time, you have to understand what your limitations are with the rookie quarterback with the bad offensive line. And Darrell Bevell's really not had to deal with that.
Yeah.
He had Russell Wilson who's running 20 times a game. Go ahead.
Right.
Sorry.
I was going to say, Urban Meyer is probably sitting there staring him down while he's putting his game plan together. And if he sees an ADOT and dip below 15 yards, he probably loses his mind and threatens to fire him. So Urban Meyer's got to go. I don't think he's fit for the NFL. I think he's got to go. That whole Jacksonville team outside of J-Rob is in trouble if he stays.
It just needs to be quick hitting offense, and that's not happening right now.
Yep.
All right, so the second
how do you actively just ignore Shenault on your team? I want to know what Shenault did in the preseason to anger Mr. Urban Meyer. I'd like that to come out. I'd like that investigation, NFL. My fantasy teams need to know. It's bad.
Right, so let's go ahead and talk about the other probably the most entertaining 32-point game you've ever seen in your entire life.
I'm not talking about the Detroit-Pittsburgh game, so don't ask.
We have to.
I'm not.
That was so bizarre.
Not talking about it.
It was so bizarre.
Najee Harris did his thing. Swift had a bunch of carries. You know what I will talk. Actually, I will talk about. You don't want to know why? Do you know who's calling the plays in Detroit?
Yes, I know who's.
Take a guess. Take a guess. Mr. Kneebiter himself, the man who has never called.
Dan Campbell's not.
Dan Campbell called the plays today, and Swift had 33 carries. You want to put 2 and 2 together? Campbell called the plays.
Has Campbell been calling plays all season?
I don't think it's been all season, but I know I saw him with that damn play sheet today for the first time ever, calling plays. And if he wasn't calling plays, he was trying to learn how. But I want to correlate.
You have found me in the most dumbfounded position I've ever been on, like on a live show. My mind is blown because I didn't get to watch the entire game. Obviously, very few TVs were on there. I had no idea.
He's sitting there on the sideline, cleaning off the play sheet from the rain and overtime, getting ready to call another 10 carries for Swift up the middle against Pittsburgh. 3rd and 15, what do you want to do, boys? Run a draw. 3rd and 21, what do you want to do? Bite the knees, run a draw. They'll never see it coming. Play action? Fuck that, run a draw. It's hilarious.
So brutal. That's so brutal.
But I mean, if that's what's ahead, I'm honestly even worried about Swift a little bit. Not to mention Swift got vultured for 2 touchdowns. 3 carries for 41 yards.
It wasn't vultured. They were both breakaway runs, which is absolutely insane to me.
I don't even know how to say that. Igbuke. I don't know how to say that, but it was a nice run, but it sucked that it didn't go Swift's way.
All right, let's talk about how much it sucks since we're on the path of sucking right now. PJ Walker.
Hold on. One more thing to note. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 10 targets in this game, so that's important to note for moving forward, even though Goff sucks.
How many targets do you have Hawkinson's targets?
Hawkinson's targets was 1. 1.
That's so disheartening.
I don't know who B. Wright is. Let's look him up here real quick. Brock Wright had 2, and 1 was completed. Hawkinson got a big old donut.
Let's move on to PJ Walker, who got vultured.
Hawkinson tight end 1 season was fun for like 2 weeks.
Hawkinson's still like a tight end 4, 5.
Nah.
You can say yeah if you want, but he is. All right, let's talk about
Hawk all day.
Get out of here.
All day.
All right, let's go.
Let's talk. He not?
Let's move on. Let's talk about the Panthers thing with PJ Walker. God. We have a very limited.
No one wants to talk about PJ Walker, but you.
He played great this game. He played
good
phenomenally.
Enough to get his job taken away.
Yes, he did.
22 of 29 for 167 yards, a 2-point conversion, an interception, and 2 fumbles is not playing great. Let's not also forget that
he also had an opportunity to score 2 touchdowns.
100 miles an hour throwing screens to the outside, 10 yards over receivers' heads. He's lost the job already.
His arm is really, really strong. Like, you can't help that. Like, he has a bomb-ass arm.
He's like the kid in that old baseball movie. He just can't control his laser rocket arm anymore.
Like, it takes time. And that's on the shoulders of the coaching staff. PJ Walker is an all-star. He really is. I mean, he's a stud.
He's done.
He is done.
Cam Newton outscored him on like 6 snaps. He's done.
How many quarterbacks did the Cardinals go through tonight? Let's start with Kyler Murray.
Well,
and then, given I know that you probably assumed Kyler Murray. And then who else? Colt
McCoy and Winnipeg Blue Bomber legend Chris Streveler. God, local boy there. Here, not local, but played here in Winnipeg, won a Grey Cup. The man is such a legend that in the frozen tundra that is Winnipeg, he did the Grey Cup, which is the Canadian Football League Championship parade. No shirt, open fur coat, cowboy hat, cigar. The guy is a legend. He's just bad at football. which is kind of what he gets paid to do.
So who was the finishing quarterback for that game?
Strevler.
Oh, he did finish that out. Okay.
Yeah, he finished it. McCoy left and never came back after. I think it looked like he was on his side. He kind of got hit. He was on his side.
Yeah.
Not great. Kyler's back next week, so whatever. Limited or not, they're bringing him back.
I just want to talk one more topic.
I want to talk about Cam Newton quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to talk about Cam Newton quick. When Cam Newton takes over, he could win leagues if you picked him up for free this week. You saw him today. He came in, had 2 snaps at the goal line, had 2 touchdowns. You saw him running the ball on read options, right? They're still going to use him as a mobile player. And if Christian McCaffrey's doing his thing, bringing him down to the goal line, man, Cam Newton could end up putting up top 15 weeks every week. And in super flex formats, you're getting him for free off waiver wires. Money.
You know what's really weird? We talked about it pre-show or the show this morning about how there could be 5 players that end up with 5 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
this season, and Chuba Hubbard scored again tonight. So
yeah, it could legitimately happen. I just want to add that Cam Newton looks like he really, and even throwing the ball, he had the deep ball to DJ Moore down the side. For a guy that hadn't played yet this year, it was pinpoint. There was just pass interference. Like it was pinpoint. And Cam knows DJ Moore. He knows McCaffrey. He's comfortable in that environment. I think he could really come in and even get himself a job there next year. Honestly, no cap, as the kids would say. But next topic.
All right, we have one more before we have to discuss the most disappointing game of the night. We have the Packers that we have to discuss first, and how it's A.J. Dillon's team. I mean, that's obvious as it is. Like, we have a system that was derived from the wide zone run scheme. This was made for A.J. Dillon's style of running. He's seeing targets. Now, I mean, here's the deal. Like, Aaron Jones, and you saw my tweet earlier, right? Over there at FF_intervention. You saw my tweet. I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, like, people were complaining about Aaron Jones. He needs to get more touches because he's perfect for the McCarthy run scheme. He's perfect. He needs to get more touches. And now the same
McCarthy's
people...
not...
I
understand what you mean. Never mind. I get it. I got you.
Yeah, like, exactly. He's not there anymore. So now you have a different system, right, that was derived from the Tennessee system, which is a wide zone running scheme, which, by the way, is perfect for A.J. Dillon. So I understand there are Aaron Jones truthers out there, right?
Aaron Jones was running back 5 in this system last year.
Yeah, that's great.
And
that's
running
phenomenal.
back 2 the year before that. So it's like, it's not like he was running back 2.
No, he was not. But at the same time, the wide zone run scheme, as you've seen with Shanahan, have you seen with multiple other positions? I mean, all the way back to the other Shanahan, like the Mike Shanahan era with Terrell Davis. These running backs last like 1 to 2 years. They typically do. Derrick Henry's a freak of an athlete, which is why he lasted 3 years in this system. And now you're talking about putting a small running back in the system, which, by the way, if you go back and you do the research, like, they actually pulled him. Mike pulled him multiple different weeks because he was scrambling too much because he did not want to make the cut and go upfield. And he got pulled. And everybody's like, why is he getting pulled? He's healthy. Because he did not run the routes, or he did not run the system that he wanted. He was cutting back too soon. He was dancing in the backfield. And so he got pulled. And Jamal Williams was like, hey, F it. Like, I'm going in. I'm hitting that hole because I need to make money. And, you know, Jamal Williams did make money because of that reason. If he didn't, if he danced around just like Aaron Jones did, he would be making money. Either way.
I just want to mention, too, it's not like A.J. Dillon, though, played like lights out. I mean, if you like, he was touchdown dependent in this game, which you won't always be with that offense. But it is something to note. He had 21 carries, 66 yards. That's barely over 3 a carry. And I hate yards per carry, but it matters in this case. He only caught 2 balls. Granted, it was for 62 yards. I think it's going to be a dirty, grimy running back 2 rest of the way while he's the lead guy until Aaron Jones comes back. Dirty and grimy.
Oh, no, sir.
Yes.
Sir, this is a system that was derived like for him. They were not planning on Aaron Jones being out. So the game plan did not go to that situation. Like, this is something as to where... I don't understand
how the game plan didn't go for it, but if the system is the same and he had 21 carries against a Seattle defense that's susceptible to the run, what I'm saying is he's going to need the touchdowns because he's not He's not the pass catcher that Aaron Jones is, which is what gave him the value. He's not.
What do you mean?
He's a good
not?
pass catcher, but he's not as good as Aaron Jones. That's where he
could
made his
be
money.
Better. He averaged better yards per catch. He averaged more yards per catch after the catch. He is actually
today?
better than Aaron Jones.
You mean today on his two catches?
No, I have not looked up the stat. This was prior to today. Aaron Jones or AJ Dillon is actually the better pass catcher. He just hasn't seen the opportunity that Aaron Jones has seen. He's the better pass catcher in this offense. He is. It's literally facts. Like, it's stats. It's facts. It's backed up. I've already done the research on it. He is the better pass catcher. Now, when it comes to I think it was like the yards per reception, it's slightly higher for Aaron Jones because he didn't create yards per contact. But when you talk about Aaron Jones, or I'm sorry, not Aaron Jones. When you talk about AJ Dillon getting an opportunity of work, they've tried to put him out wide one-on-one with corners. So when he's ever has the opportunity to be one-on-one with corners, who, by the way, are like 200 pounds, who weighs almost 50 pounds more, you're talking about being able to dominate and create yards after the catch. Aaron Jones is brilliant at creating yards after the catch. I'm sorry, AJ Dillon is brilliant at creating yards after the catch. Let's hop on to the last one, which you won the bet on. You won this argument earlier this morning.
Damn right.
I bet Thomas that Carson Wentz would have a better day than Jalen Hurts, and the Hurts
the most consistent quarterback in fantasy football right now, Jalen Hurts.
He looked like a different quarterback. The Denver Broncos,
because he's good.
He's good. I like Jalen Hurts. I told you I like Jalen Hurts. I just didn't like the matchup. This is a very bad matchup for Jalen Hurts, and it turned out that Jalen Hurts got very lucky on a long run, but he also was very, very good. He was the best quarterback. This could be the best quarterback performance we've seen all season. In terms of making the throws he needed to make, creating the yards he needed to make. He balled it up a couple of times that I didn't like in the second half, where he actually took it up quicker than he should have and tried to run for it. But regardless, in the first half, he played like a champion. And they dominated. They absolutely dominated. I have to eat the bomb hot sauce now.
Damn right.
And I don't want to do that.
You're gonna. It's gonna be glorious. Glorious. Look, I'll say this about Jalen Hurts. Okay, the reason that running quarterbacks have such an advantage is you never know what week it's going to be. So although the Broncos held Lamar Jackson, which every time you look at a running quarterback's numbers or a defense trying to stop a running quarterback, take out the Lamar Jackson games, because every defense plays differently when he steps on the field. They don't play them the same as other running quarterbacks. You kind of got to take those outlier games out. Because everyone shifts their if you just play your base defense against the Ravens, he's gonna destroy you. So when you mentioned that this morning, they don't play him the same because he's not the same threat to run. That's why lanes were there. He's not the same runner. Stop it. And the system's not the same. If Greg Roman was in Philly, it would be that way, but it's not. He's a different kind of runner. You want to talk to me about Lamar Jackson facts, Chase? I can keep you here for 2 weeks straight. But Jalen Hurts is a player. I understand that. Now let me get to that. Jalen Hurts is a player that can take off on every play, but they're not as designed. It's not the same. Containing him is not the same. Do they design 13 runs a game for him? No.
Yes, they design about 10, so 3 short.
So you did not have 10 designed runs today.
It's about 8 to 10. No, but on average, it's about 8 to 10.
I would have to strongly disagree.
I've watched.
He scrambles more than Jackson does. Either way, though, they're not the same player. But comparing him to a Taylor Heineke or any other quarterback that casually runs, it's not going to be the same. Jalen Hurts is an every week possibility to have 50-plus rushing yards every single week.
Yeah, it's because of wide
without question. No matter the matchup,
absolutely terrible. Outside of Devonta
he only
Smith.
needs one. He needs one.
Was there news that came out about Goddard?
Yeah, what was it? It was a head injury, I think. Give me 1 second and I'll find out for you. 1 second, 1 moment. I know he was ruled out right away. Oh, he's way down here. He was, Dallas Goedert right here. Concussion. It was a head injury. I was correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was ruled out right away. So he's definitely going to miss a little bit of time.
We got to get Adam in on that, figure out what's going to happen, obviously. You guys can go check out Adam if they're at The Real Adam H
I would guess
the
that
real Adam _H. I'm sorry.
I would guess like they play New Orleans next week.
They need a tight end.
He's going to be straight up 50-50. It's going to be a very sketchy concussion protocol if he passes,
Jackson?
I think. Oh, God. Is
he
the only other tight end on the roster?
I don't know who played tonight, but yeah, it's possible. All right, well, obviously it's not possible because Tyree Jackson just came off IR, so they have another one as well.
They have to have someone else. Doesn't mean it's going to be fun.
Let's briefly talk about the Chiefs game up against the Raiders. I feel like there could be offensive points everywhere, but there's nothing predictive in this matchup aside of Josh Jacobs, getting targets, Renfro getting targets, and Wall getting targets.
Kenyon Drake, baby.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna have a good game. He's gonna have a good game today. Book it.
You just play the studs at this point. All right. With that being said,
to me, there was almost no other easier flex play to me than Kenyon Drake right now. Honestly, I'm going to stand behind that. Even after I was wrong about Devonta Smith today, I'm going to stand behind playing Kenyon Drake for sure.
All right, I'll take it. Dude, I like the take. And Devonta Smith was an absolute monster. I was dead wrong on him as well.
Oh my God, could you believe the one play he made today? We all are, well, not we all, but a lot of us argue BMI, and he looks like Wiz Khalifa, and he's 90 pounds soaking wet.
I like the guy balls.
Oh, I love him even in Dynasty, Devonta Smith. But the guy, no matter how big he is a great wide receiver in the aspects of being a wide, and he made just a ridiculous play today in that game. So I'll wear the hat. I was wrong. I was incorrect. My B. I'm just gonna accept defeat on Devonta Smith. The guy's so good.
Devonta Smith. He's good.
He's
great. I just didn't like him in this matchup.
I was pro Chenault over guys like Smith, like body type and run after the catch and everything. But Smith is a whole nother animal, man. He's an animal. If you got him, love it and just accept it.
No, I'm on board with that 100%. Hey, Thomas, where can we find you, man?
Oh, you can find me all over the place, man. You can catch me here every other week. Tom Stipple FF on the Bird app as well. You can catch me Tuesday and Friday, the Full Tilt Dynasty podcast. Thursday morning, we're going to have the midweek tilt debuting this week. And, of course, you can find me at the Start and Sit show, especially next week. Don't miss it with Fantasy Intervention and Chase here eating some Da Bomb at the start of the show. It's going to be amazing. He's got to get through it. It's going to be worth the watch. Jalen Hurts, QB1. Eat that with your hot sauce, Chase. Absorb it. Let it get into your skin. Exfoliate with it. Whatever you got to do to get ready.
I don't really want to talk about it.
Glorious.
It's going to be terrible. You guys can go check out all of our content over there at Dynasty Apper. And don't forget, by the way, have you, Thomas, real quick.
Yeah. Yep.
Have you ever seen this trophy? Hold on. I'm trying to pick it up. It's really heavy. Hold on. This thing is heavy as hell. Oh my God. Whew. This title belt right here is from, sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath. Just a little bit out of breath. Oh, TrophySmack.com. If you use promo code DHH, ring, DHH ring, you will actually get a free ring with the purchase of this championship belt. Yeah, check it out. It's pretty badass. Go to TrophySmack.com. Use promo code DHH ring. Make sure the ring is actually in your cart along with the belt or the trophy, and you'll get a $6 ring for free.
Yeah.
Listen, we appreciate you guys for coming in. Thank you guys.
Every time.
Hey, and keep chasing those points. Let's go. Tyler, we're done.